Hi everyone, thanks again for popping along to the channel. Just wanted to say a great big thanks for everyone who commented on the last video and everyone who liked it. It's really much appreciated. As you can probably tell by the title, this is going to be a bit of a what's in my bag video. What I thought I would do is next week I've got plans to go off to Wales. So with that, what I was going to do is a bit of coastal shooting, and I'll be able to get some astro in as well. So what I've got in my bag here is what I'm planning to take with me next week. So I thought I'd go through, show you what I've got, and just give you a little rundown on what that is. And yeah, hopefully it'll be an interesting one for you. The one thing I did do is forget my tripod though, so I'll have to show you that afterwards. I'll start off with the bag, and this is the Manfrotto Red Bee 210 backpack. It's a really nice backpack, holds quite a bit and allows me to sort of stick in as much as I can. It's comfortable, opens up from the back, and as well as that you've got a zip at the top to allow easy access to the camera at the top. There's a couple of straps on for tripods, and then a couple of handholds at the back, on the sides even. On the back you've got the suitcase hold, so you slip the suitcase handle through there and then just sit it on top of your suitcase. As I said, it opens up from the back, and in here we have, we'll go for the first thing, and that is my camera. So the camera that I use is the Canon EOS R. I did have a Canon 6D before this and was looking to upgrade, and I thought instead of going for the 5D4 I'd go for the EOS R. That gets me into the mirrorless system and allows me to use the new RF lenses that are coming out, which from what I can tell are really good. It also has the EF adapter on it, so I can use all of my older lenses as well, and that was part of the reason for wanting to stay in the Canon systems, is because I had a few lenses that I didn't really want to get rid of. So I kept that, and I kept those, and I now have the EOS R. What I've currently got on this at the moment is the 16-35 f4, and this is just a fantastic go-to landscape lens. It's nice and wide, so you can get some decent shots, get in the whole of the landscape. But yeah, it's just an all-round great lens. It's not too heavy, so if you're walking around with a backpack full of gear, it's not going to add too much weight to it. So I've got the small rig L plate on it, and basically this allows me to go from landscape straight into portrait without having to worry about tilting the head or anything like that. It's really good. It's got a little magnetic bit to allow you to open up the side. This allows you to get access to the ports on the side, so you can put in your USB cables and like your timers and things like that. So it's really good, and that just sort of sits on the bottom, and it's magnetic so it doesn't fall off. And you've got a little latch there to allow you to open up the battery compartment as well, which is really good. And that's on the Arca Swiss system. So the tripod that I have the Arca Swiss head, and it's just a case of pushing it in, twisting the knob, and away you go. The lens that I got with the camera was the RF 24-105. This is pretty much the kit lens, and one that I actually do use quite a lot. Absolutely stunning lens, get some really nice sharp images out of it, and yeah, absolutely brilliant. It's f4, and I can't fault it. It's a really good lens. I'd be tempted to switch to the 24-70, but I would probably want to go to the f2.8 for that. But this absolutely fine for just running and gunning. So normally I have that on the lens, on the camera, and away I go. The other lens I have is the 70-200. Again, this is the f4, so it's not the fastest lens, but it's light. It's got no stabilization, but in most instances I just stick it on the tripod and make sure that I don't touch it while I'm taking a picture, and away I go. It's got some really nice shots if you want to get those detailed landscape shots. So hopefully I'll be getting to use that as well. So what I'm planning to do as well, as I mentioned, is some astrophotography. And the good thing is the way I've planned it is that it will be at the beginning of the month, which means there's a new moon. So in theory, there should be no light pollution from the moon, and I've gone to a location that's relatively dark, so hopefully no light pollution from the cities. To do the astrophotography, what I've got is the Samyang 14mm f2.8, and this is a really wide lens and it's a fast aperture as well, which means it's going to suck in all that light and just get absolutely everything in shot. So providing the weather holds out, I'll be using this, and I'll be up quite late in the night. It's a full manual lens, so you have to manually set your aperture, and then the focus ring works the same as any others. So next on the list is my filters, and these are the Case Wolverine filter system. Absolutely brilliant filters, can't really fault them. You've got the holder system, which is really good, so it just slips onto the front. The good thing with this, which you don't get on many others, is that it's actually got a wheel to allow you to spin the polarizer. So if you stick the polarizer on the front, you spin the little wheel, and that spins the polarizer for you. Previously had a Lee filter system, and you had to do it on the front, which was a little awkward if you hadn't put it on properly. So in some cases I managed to twist it and it came off, which is not ideal. In here I have, and I've left them in the bags for a reason, so that just a little extra protection. I have the polarizer. So this is a 86mm polarizer. As I mentioned, it sits on the front of the lens and it's magnetic as well, so it'll attach and you don't have to worry about it. And then you use the wheel and it spins it around. So the next one is the 2-stop soft edge graduated filter. This I generally use for early mornings, late evenings, and that's just to bring down the sky and try and get that in line with what's on the ground as well. Not really much to say about it other than it's a good filter. Next on the list is two lenses, two different ones. So we have the 6-stop ND filter and the 10-stop ND filter. I won't get these out because I'm sure most of you know what a 10-stop and a 6-stop are. Again, brilliant lens, brilliant filters. These ones I use for doing the long exposures. Now the really good thing with these is there is no color cast, so you don't have to mess around within Lightroom to try and correct it so that it works. I had the Lee 10-stop filter and it gave it a horrible blue cast, which was just frustrating. Right, the next one, which I haven't used at all yet, and this is the 2-stop reverse grad. So basically this one you would normally use if there was like a sunrise or a sunset and the sun is just on the horizon. So it would darken down along the horizon where the sun is, and then everything above that would just sort of gradually get lighter. Again, I haven't used it, but I'll take it with me, and you never know, I might get to use that. So that's all the filters that I've got, and yeah, they work an absolute treat. I've got no problems with the Case filter system. Absolutely brilliant, in fact. So yeah, Oh, and I got the little pouch with it as well, so I can just shove everything in there and forget about it. That is most of the bulky gear sorted. So what I've got left are things like the accessories and other little bits and bobs. So one thing that I carry around with me all the time is basically a microfiber cloth. This one's more than just a cloth. It's more like a blanket. It's massive. But I keep this in the bag so that if I need to, if anything gets wet, I can just wipe it down with this, and that works absolutely fine. And then for the long exposures, I have a timer, so a remote trigger, and this basically I just plug into the side and basically set it to however long I want to do it. Away it goes. I have batteries. So now I've got the Canon, what are they? The LPN 6E and E6N batteries. So those work for the EOS R. In fact, they work for most of the brand new Canon systems or Canon cameras. I've got a few of these. I've only got 2 at the moment, but it's just to make sure that I have spares. Since starting YouTube, I've got the Canon M50, which I'm recording on now, and I've got some extra batteries for that as well, just to make sure that I don't run out. And then things like chargers, I'll keep those as well, but they won't come with me when I'm going out and about. But it's one of those things, you need the chargers. And then in the pouch at the top, we have a power bank. Now this is a 20,000 milliamp hour battery or charger. Absolutely brilliant. The main reason for getting this was because it has a power out option. So what I can do is, as long as I'm using a USB-C cable, I can plug this into the Canon EOS R, and although they don't officially say it supports it, it will actually charge it. So if I get stuck where I've run out of charge or I'm running out of charge, I can just plug the Canon EOS R into this, and an hour later it's got a decent amount of charge in it. But I like to keep those. It's got the connections for other items, so it's got USB-C, Lightning port, it's got USB as well, so it's just a case of plugging it in and letting it do its thing. And then, almost at the end, SD card case. So in here I have cards. So generally I won't run out of space on the card that I've got at the moment. So in the EOS R I've got a 64 gig card, and I've just got an assortment of cards in here. More often than not, when that's full, I'll just clear it and then start over. So generally I've never had an issue of running out of space. And it just goes into the pouch there. Cloth, so I can wipe the lens if it gets wet. And then, if I can find it, we have blower. So things get dusty, you get dirt on things, you don't want to just sort of wiping it without getting rid of some of the grittier bits. So I keep one of those around so I can just squirt the lens and away it goes. And then, because of the vlogging aspect, I have a GorillaPod. So this at the moment has got the attachment for the GoPro, but what I'll do is I normally just shove this with the Canon M50 and then stand there looking like a daft idiot walking around with the camera in front of my face. The only thing I would say is, if you're like me, I always want the legs straight, and you can never get them straight. Once they're wonky, you can spend a lifetime trying to put them back straight. Just, yeah. So that's that. So next, what I do like to do is keep them in their own boxes until I'm out in the field and doing something. So this is the GoPro box. And nice little case, it's all rubberized, but in here I have the GoPro 7 Black Edition. Absolutely brilliant. I had the version 3 and this is just so much better. The electronic stabilization is just, it's nuts how good that is. Sorry, excuse the plane. And then I've got things like battery charger, spare batteries. One thing I did do is buy a light for the GoPro. So this originally I bought when I was diving, so that I could dive with the GoPro and this would sit next to it and allow me to get some better shots, because when you're diving, the deeper you go, the less light there is. So lights are essential, but this you can use it for anything and it's absolutely brilliant. And then I have a clip. So this is like a crocodile clip with a GoPro attachment. It does what it says on the tin, so you can attach it to things, so you can just, and then the good thing with this one is that the GoPro part spins round. There you go. And that's the GoPro. Right, so the next thing I have, slightly bigger box, and this one's a lot more fun, is the DJI Mavic Air. Annoyingly, I don't get to use this half as much as I'd like to, but brilliant little drone. When I can, I get out and mess around with it. Unfortunately, I can't get it out here because I'm a little too close to an airfield, but there are places that you can go, and as long as you don't take the piss, follow the sort of the basic rules, it should be all good. But if you're ever into your drones and you want something small and light, then you can't go wrong with this. Got it with the Fly More package, which means I get 3 batteries, which are essential. Get the controller as well, and this is really cool because it just folds up so small. Really, really good. You just attach your phone to the bottom of it, and away you go. And then with it, I have charger, cables, and then one thing I bought, which is quite an interesting one, is a tablet attachment. So what you do is it comes in pieces. You get a little ball head, and that just attaches to that. This bit would go into where you would normally set your mobile, and then you stick your tablet into this bit here. Now this bit stretches, so it should accommodate most small tablets. I think the one I have is about 7 inches, so if it's about that size, then you're all good. But folds away nice and neatly. It even comes with a nice little pouch. And that is pretty much the majority of the gear that I'll be taking. Oh yes, one thing I forgot to say, I have extra props. So the Fly More package comes with extra props, and on top of that, what I have is the Polar Pro, I think it's the Cinema Edition filters. So basically I get the ND filters, and I get the circular polarizer filters as well, and this allows me to reduce the shutter speed so that it gets you more cinematic footage. I've not used them very often, but they're really, really good. So and then one other thing, as I'm sure anyone who uses the Mavic Air, the legs are on the little short side. So what I've got is some extra little legs that allow you to just prop it up a bit further. So if you're in grass, it just raises it up a little bit so you can take off easier. Saves you having to hand hold it or mess around. But that is it for the drone. as I mentioned, I forgot the tripod. So what I'll do is I will, when I get back, I will do a little video of that and I'll show you that. So the tripod that I've got is the Vanguard Alta Pro 284 CT. So it's the carbon fiber one. Has the twist lock legs, but it can fold down fairly small, so you can get it quite low to the floor. The neck pops out and you can get slightly different angles, which is really good. Really nice tripod. So hopefully that hasn't been too boring for you. Hopefully you found some of the gear that I use interesting. And what I've done is, below in the description are the links to affiliate links, and feel free to take a look. But if you're interested, I'll put links down to my site where I've got a bit of info about all the gear that I use as well. It's not just this gear, I've got gear for like the nature photography, so there's a few little extras that I haven't actually gone through on this one. And as always, like, subscribe and share, and feel free to comment down below. Right, time to make a move, and I'll catch you on the next one.